welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we have a little bit different video, switching gears a little bit. We are talking about a DIY project that my dad and I executed, but mostly my dad. We got contacted a little while ago by Plank and Mill. They have beautiful reclaimed wood wall planks, and I decided to do an accent wall in our guest room. So my dad was kind enough to come out from Chicago and help me execute that project. They're peel and stick. So it was supposed to be very easy, very foolproof. You actually don't have to use power tools if you don't want to. You can use a linoleum knife or a handsaw to cut the wood pieces. So I just wanted to have my dad here. This is Dave.
Hello.
We call him Steady Dave, aka Obi-Wan Ryobi, because he loves his Ryobi tools. And he and I executed the project a couple days ago, and I just wanted to kind of recap like how we thought it went. First of all, I will say it was packaged really well in the boxes. Right. And then when you pulled out the pieces, you wanted to leave them out for like 48 hours. I left them out for like a week so that they could get acclimated to the weather in the room, as we just lost a pillow over here. So we got them out of the boxes, and then we kind of like separated them by like color grouping. I felt like that was probably the best way to do it, but it was almost like you didn't want to do too much of a steady pattern,
right?
Because you wanted it to look kind of like
lists look better.
Yeah, I would say for me, one of the easiest parts about the project was just like you could literally throw caution to the wind and just kind of like totally randomly stick the things on the wall, the different sizes. You just, I don't know, just kind of. I think it's a project you just have to go for.
Right.
One of the things that I really think that I enjoyed about doing the project is kind of like it's something that you could do in one day, and it's kind of fun to do with somebody else. And it was actually really interesting to look at the wall panels as they were going up to see how we wanted to group the colors together. But we really didn't have a full plan. We just started putting things on the wall. You bought, what was that tool that you bought off Amazon to kind of help?
It's a linoleum roller or a vinyl roller.
Yeah, so we peeled,
like
you have to peel tape
$12 to
off.
$14 off of Amazon.
Yeah, there's like 3 strips on the back. You peel the tape off, and then you stick it to the wall, and then my dad would use the linoleum roller to kind of make sure it was really on there. And they're definitely really on there.
Oh, yeah.
It's been like over 24 hours since we've had them up, and there's not like a loose piece. You can't even pry it off if you wanted to now.
To be honest, you could probably get away without the roller if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes you have a little dips in the wall.
Yeah.
Or
you have to bend it kind of.
Because the material is somewhat thin, you have some concave or convex, there's some cupping on it. So you just want to roll that a little bit on those spots. But for the most part, especially from the half size down, you could just push it on the wall. It was fine.
Yeah, I love the way it turned out. We did it in about, I would say, would you say like 4 hours?
About 4 hours.
We probably could have done it faster. The one thing that we'll say is like the con of this entire project, what is it?
The
tape. The back of it, you have 3 strips of tape to peel off, and I'm telling you, unless you have like a perfect nail that catches it every time, that is kind of the tedious part of the process. But I will say,
guys, if this is guys doing this project, don't trim your nails before you do this project.
Or get your girlfriend or wife to help you.
Because trying to catch that edge was difficult.
Yeah. But it is really satisfying when you do and you peel it off in one giant strip. But yeah, I think you kind of need 2 people for this project if you want to get it done really fast. One person is peeling while the other person is sticking on the wall and making the cuts as needed. I was trying to get my dad to do, to kind of try to get as much on the wall as we could and then make the cuts towards the end. And we kind of did that. The first couple rows we wanted to make sure we did all the way across.
Yeah, we did that.
Level.
We did the top row all the way across, cut the piece, so we had that part to work with. But then we kind of worked our way down and staggered it, and then
and then filled in the gaps.
Filled in the gaps at the end. It went faster that way.
Yeah, I think so. And also too, like if you're somebody who's like a crazy perfectionist that needs there to be no gap anywhere and like perfect lined up seams, this really isn't the project for you or the look for you, because it is definitely more of like a rustic feel. I actually love the way it looks. It's not perfect in the most perfect way, I think. I love the way the boards are different. They have different knots, different textures, they're different patterns, and then when you line them up on the wall, there's a couple gaps here and there, but nothing crazy. And overall, visually, when you look at the wall, it just looks like the side of some old, cool barn.
Right, and you would expect on an old barn that maybe an edge looks like it's a little bit off on one part because it's pulling away from the. It's very cool looking.
I really like it. So overall, I would say we were very impressed with the quality of like the weathering and how the different pieces have different knots in it. We found a couple surprise cedar pieces in there that smelled really good
when we
cut them. He did end up using a power saw, but it's totally not necessary. You could use a linoleum knife or a hand saw to cut. He actually, at the bottom, we had to make it a little bit less wide of a plank. We used the 5-inch planks, but at the bottom, I think we had about 4 inches to work with. He used the linoleum knife to cut
and a metal straight edge and just.
Yeah. So it was relatively an easy project to do for a couple of people. Like I said, the tedious part was peeling the tape, but if you've got a good nail, or maybe you could even use like a butter knife or something to get yourself like kind of started once you get that edge peeled up. And it is a pricier item, I would say. If you're looking for something that's like crazy budget friendly, this might not be the project for you. But I will say it's one of those projects that it's so worth the cost, because we would have had to do this project for days, don't you think? If we had to cut all the wood.
It's the convenience of it. I mean, to be able to not have to nail anything.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
When he brought his brad nailer, we thought we might have to nail some pieces in, but the adhesive in the 3 strips really does hold everything on there.
Along that line, though, the best way to put them in is to come up at the top and line up the edges and then push them down. Because if you accidentally make contact with the wall, it's good adhesive. Yeah. So it sticks pretty good. It's kind of hard to pull it off if you get it on the wrong spot.
Yeah, so make sure you have it where you want it.
Yeah, start it at the top and then swing the rest.
And I would say one big tip that we kind of used as we learned it as we went along, don't remove the tape. Put the piece in place where you think you want to put it, so you can see it on the wall before you stick it down. Because then it's permanent, you can't really make any changes. There are some people that ask me some questions already if it's permanent. I would say it's like a semi-permanent project. Technically, you could probably remove them from the wall using like some kind of like, not crowbar, but just something that can kind of peel it from the wall.
The foam that has the adhesive on it has adhesive on both sides. So I believe if you were to pull it off, if you really were trying to take it off, if you pulled it off, the foam would disconnect from the wood strips and you'd be left with the foam on the wall. Now, taking that off, if you're really thinking, I'm going to clean this off and then I'm just going to paint the wall again, might be a little difficult.
Might have to sand it down.
I would almost recommend, if you want to do something like that, to just put some 4x8 underlayment panels and just screw them to the wall. Then you can put this right over it.
Yeah.
Then when you peel that off, you don't care what it looks like. Then you just take the screws off, and all you'd have to do is patch the holes in the wall if you weren't going to be permanent with it.
This is something anybody can do, and I almost think, like, don't even stress about the permanent part of the project. Just go for it. I mean...
No, I wouldn't want to take it off. It looks really nice.
Yeah, that's
the
thing.
I think it looks.
Resale value, too. It might not be somebody's style, but they could always paint over it. If they don't like the color or they don't like the different kind of rustic pattern, you could paint it stark white and it wouldn't look as obvious. Or they could put some type of treatment over it. Maybe, maybe some kind of other wood paneling on top of it. I want to thank Plank & Mill so much for collaborating with me on this project. I did receive this project for free. They just, full disclosure on that, they're not paying me to say anything good or bad. I'm giving a full review on it. I just wanted to be honest with you guys. I definitely think it's worth the money. I definitely absolutely love the outcome. It was nice for once to have my dad come out and do a project that didn't take us the entire weekend to complete. Because then we just got to spend time with each other and enjoy, and yeah, it was just an awesome time. So thank you, Dad.
Oh, sure. You're welcome. As always.
My handyman. But if you're not handy, you could totally do this project. In fact, the first thing I said when we were done is, I could have done this at some point. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. I'm also going to be doing a full blog post on this as well, so you can kind of see our progress as we completed the wall and see lots of great pictures. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.